with Big Swingin Cycles. We're going to do a quick clinic today on how to properly lube your drivetrain on your bike. Before you start, you're going to need a few things. Obviously some chain lube. I happen to like this Dumonde original lube right here, but you can also use something like Tri-Flow. There's a whole bunch of different lubes. It really doesn't matter that much. It's more personal preference. Also got a little bit of degreaser right here for your chain as well, and sometimes this can be helpful too. And then of course some type of rag, can be an old t-shirt or a shop rag. So we've got our bike in a work stand now. Obviously not everyone has a work stand. It's probably the one thing that a lot of people don't have that they should have. It's a real handy item to have for washing your bike or doing simple maintenance like lubing your chain. If you don't have a work stand, you can just lean the bike up against a wall or a garage or something, just something where the bike sits stable and you have the ability to rotate the cranks backwards. Before we do anything to our chain, we're going to shift into the big ring up front and into the small ring in back. And the reason we're doing that is to move the chain all the way out so it's away from the frame as far as possible and away from the braking surface of the rim. We're going to start by taking our shop rag and wiping off any old dirt or lubrication. If the chain is really gunked up, you can use some degreaser, and you can just apply that to the rag and use that to kind of break down the dirt and grime on the chain. But most of the time, a chain shouldn't be so dirty that that needs to be done. If it is that dirty, oftentimes it's because you're putting on too much lube or not wiping off the lube after you've applied it. So I'll usually count off about 10 or 20 strokes here to get the old lube and dirt off the chain. When we're done with that, we're ready to apply some fresh lube. I mentioned I like this Dumonde. Dumonde's a polymer, which means it goes on as a liquid and then it kind of solidifies almost like a wax coating or a plastic shell for your chain. So a couple ways you can do it. If you've got a lot of time on your hands, you can apply it to each little roller right here, the little round circle on the chain in between the outer plates. And that's really the only place we need to get the lube. I usually will not do it that way in the interest of time and just pedal the chain backwards, counting off about 6 strokes and letting the lube fall onto those little rollers. So we'll count off about 6 pedal strokes here of our lube. And we're good. And I like to give it a few minutes to kind of penetrate. It'll fall down in between this roller and this outer plate here. Ideally, if you can wait a few minutes, that's optimal, not mandatory. And you want to take your rag again, and basically you want to wipe off everything you see. If you see it, it's really not lubricating anything, it's just attracting dirt. So we're going to wipe off that excess lube. And now our chain is all cleaned and lubricated. Ideally, if you can do this a couple hours ahead of your ride or even the night before, that's the best situation. It gives the lube time to dry and set up, but it's not absolutely mandatory. And then of course we want to kind of pedal and shift into a friendlier gear, which allows us to hop on our bike and be able to ride it. And that's how to lube a chain properly. If you don't have a work stand, you can lean your bike up against a wall or some type of object. Here I've just leaned it up against the display case. The key being I'm able to rotate these cranks backwards so that I can wipe the chain and apply lube while spinning the cranks. I mentioned a basic repair stand. This is a nice portable repair stand that is great for use around the home shop. You can get these for 150, 200 bucks. As I said earlier, a lot of people don't have them. It's a great investment. You got to wash your bike, you got to maintain your bike, put lube on the chain, fix flat tires, do simple adjustments at home. This gives you a nice, safe, sturdy place to hold your bike. Lots of adjustment on it. You can rotate it, you can raise the height up and down, and it folds away for easy storage.